seeking avoid larger-scale civilian casualties or mass displacement like those seen before current temporary lull fighting. Democratic administration has underscored to Israelis need proceed with much more caution in southern Gaza than north. Officials said they briefed reporters on condition of anonymity in accordance with ground rules set by the White House. As international and domestic pressure mounts over rising Palestinian death toll, White House has begun to put greater pressure on Israel that tone of upcoming campaign should be carefully considered. According to one of officials, the official said Israelis were understanding when administration officials raised these concerns. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has made clear that Israel Defense Forces will resume military operations following the end of current temporary ceasefire, which allows hostages taken by Hamas to be exchanged for Palestinian prisoners held by Israel. President Joe Biden has said he wants the pause, which also allows much-needed humanitarian aid be sent to Gaza, continue as long as possible. Secretary of State Antony Blinken will return Middle East this week as United States hopes to find a way extend ceasefire and release more hostages. State Department said Monday. This will be Israel's third visit to the region since its war with Hamas began last month. Meanwhile, CIA Director William Burns and David Barnea, head of Israel's Mossad intelligence agency, as well as Egyptian officials met in Qatar on Tuesday to discuss the same issue. Sensitivity of the talks. Stephen Cook, a Middle East expert at Council on Foreign Relations, said talks were aimed at dozens Israeli men and members of Israeli security force being held captive in hope continuing a ceasefire and hostage exchanges for detainees. The majority of those released since the ceasefire began on Friday are women and children. Brokering swaps for Israeli forces is expected to be much more difficult for U.S. and Arab negotiators. Cook said, the price may be too high for Israelis. Cook said, while the exchange of Palestinian prisoners and hostages held by Israel was completed on Tuesday, Americans expressed their concerns about civilians in Gaza. Israel said on Tuesday that 10 Israelis and 2 foreigners freed by Hamas had left Gaza for Egypt. Only one American, 4-year-old Abigail Edan, has been released by Hamas since the ceasefire began on Friday. The White House is hopeful that some of the 9 Americans still believed to be captivity in Gaza will be released the coming days. A senior administration official told reporters. Biden and senior officials have also been clear about Israel's desire to continue Hamas-focused operations, which have largely focused on the north for the past 7 weeks. They said they supported Israel's goal eliminating Hamas control of Gaza and its threat to Israeli civilians, but were more vocal about the need to protect the lives Palestinian civilians. Hamas is known to have